So usually it has very high temperature in summer season, and according to the weather forecast, the maximum temperature can go as high as to 38 degrees Celsius. And this is already a good news to local people because in the previous days they had even more than 40 degrees, like 45 and 44. Today we are bringing to you this live stream program inside the desert. And what is curious about today's program is that people are actually seeking for the extreme hot. And we are ready to see what is the charm of this extreme hot. And also, let's see what is the charm of the desert. We have a guide with us. As we have introduced before, this Kumtag desert is located near Turpan, and it's located in the Shanshan County. Because it's very near to the fire flame mountain, so here we can have extremely high temperature. It's always around 38 degrees, sometimes to 39 or even more. And the ground temperature of the desert can sometimes even reach 80 degrees. So when I came here, local people told me that actually it's quite comfortable temperature. It's only 38, but it's already very hot for me. We are now inside the scenic spot of the Kumtag desert. The scenic area is limited in area, but the Kumtag desert is very big. The whole surface is 1,188 square kilometers for the Kumtag desert. From north to south, it's 40 kilometers, and from east to west, it's 62 kilometers. We really hope that our visitors can not only visit this scenic spot, this part, but also to go into depth into the desert. I'm not from the locale. It's the first time for me to be here, and also the first time for me to see a real desert. And when I look at them with my own eyes, I could see that the dunes have the changing landscapes, and they are in this beautiful golden color. Could you please say something more about this desert? You can see those ups and downs in the landscapes. There are dunes and also sand hills. For the dunes, they have a lighter changing forms, but for the sand hills, they are more steep than the dunes. You can tell from the pictures that they have very outstanding landscape. And the Kumtag in the local language means already the sand hill. And those slopes are very steep. After climbing a little bit, I can hardly catch my breath. I'm also in protection with my clothing, wearing long sleeves. Here the sunshine is very strong. It's already 5 p.m. local time, but the sun is hanging right in the sky, and many people are ready to climb up to the hills. Just now we've been discussing about the heat in the locale. Maybe you cannot feel directly the temperature, but we will run a test for you to show you how hot it is today. According to the forecast, the highest temperature today is 38 degrees Celsius, but the ground temperature is different from the air temperature, so let's run a test to have a look. I have a utility in my hand. This is an equipment to tell us the exact temperature of the ground. Now it reads 59.1 degrees. So nearly 60 degrees Celsius for the ground temperature of the sand. So let's run that test again to avoid any error in this number. So currently 60 degrees Celsius is already lower than half an hour ago. At that time it was 64 degrees. And it also depends the distance between the utility and the sand. When you go nearer the ground, it's 62 degrees. So I have this kind of shoes, but still I can feel instantly the hot temperature. So this means the shoes can do no separation or isolation of the heat from the ground. And now at this moment is already not the hottest moment of the day. This is really a very hot space. It's above 50 and it's growing up. And also let's talk about the sand. It's very exciting to see these kind of sand. The sand here is different from those on the beach. Because here we do not see any other strange materials except for the sand. So we have pure sand here. That's why the color is in the shiny golden color, and people would like to take off their shoes and step on the sand directly with their bare feet. However, we'd like to give a small tip to you. Pay attention to that whole temperature. Please do not walk on the sand with your bare foot. Otherwise, you will get your feet burned directly. And also, please do not forget to wear long sleeves so that the sunshine is not in direct contact with your skin. It's very important also to always carry a bottle of water with you, because under the sunshine you are sweating all the time. It's important to get a refilling of the water. And when you touch the sand, you can directly feel the hot temperature. It's burning. Still it burns. And when the temperature drops, it will feel very comfortable to put your bare foot on it. So let's check the temperature now. It reads around 58 degrees. So when we wait a little bit more, it can still have a change. So it can give you different figures depending on how deep you insert this thermometer in the sand, because the surface temperature can be different from the temperature inside the sand. Now I think you all have an idea how hot it is now in the place. However, the hotter it is, the more unforgettable this experience will be for you to visit such a place. So it's not like what we have expected. People are not refusing the heat. Instead, they are embracing the heat here. They come all the way from farther places to this locale to feel the heat and to have this close contact with the desert is totally different from what you can see and experience in the city. And before, as we mentioned, this desert is very close to the cities. So inside the Shanshan County, when you walk on the streets or when you stay in your hotel rooms, you can already see this desert in a very near distance. And when you take a ride of a dozen of minutes or 20 minutes or so, you can already arrive to the place. If you take the bus, it takes you only 10 minutes of ride. And here we say that it's 1,000 years of miracle because the sun would never invade us and the green will not disappear and people do not have to move to another place. We don't have to migrate. Over there, in the distance, you can see the tall buildings. It's very rare for us to see this scenery with such a joinery of the sand, the desert, and the city landscapes. And it's all due to the farming philosophy of this desert. We have two winged mouths. After long distance of traveling, finally, in the Kumtag desert, the two blowing wings meet with each other and the sediments that those two torrents of wind are carrying have settled here. That's why we have seen the formation of the Kumtag desert, and here you can also tell about of oasis. That's why we say that there is a harmonious coexistence of humankind and the desert. Because the green always stays and the desert will not move forward to invade the cities. And we told you before that this desert is also a featured one with its own characteristics. Still, the majority of its surface is uninhabited, but still inside there are a lot of interesting things to be discovered. We have the International Museum of Desert. We are one of the most representative example of the Gobi Desert. We have different kinds of dunes here in the place. For example, the linear and other shapes of the dunes. And also in this place, you can find the plume-shaped dunes. In the depth of the dunes, thanks to the force of the wind, and without the entrance of the human being, you can see the special shape of all the dunes. It's not like here with all the footprints of human activities. So let's take a small moment to have some water. Especially for our cameraman, because he forgot to take some clothing protection under this strong sunshine. After talking about the hot temperature for such a long time, I'd like to share with you my personal experience. I'm from the northeastern part of China. When I came to know that this temperature is as high as 60 degrees Celsius on the ground, I was not in a shock, because once you are under umbrella or when you were in the protective clothing, it's okay for you as long as you have enough water in hand. Here, the heat is different from what you can have in southern part of China. In Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, it feels different. When you have the wind and directly, you're cooled down. So a lot of people are already there on the top of the dune. So now they're at a height of 50 to 60 meters. And it's no easy job to get to that height. Usually when people come here, they will not refuse this special experience to climb the mountain hill. We can give you some footage that we have collected before. When you're climbing the sand hill, every time when you advance, you may go backward a little bit. It's like you are walking the snow land. So what is the trick, or do you have some tips for people who want to climb up high to the sand hills? We have set up some roping system on the top of the sand hills, so they can lie down those ropes, which will help people to climb up those sand hills more easily. There's a kind of assistance system. You can tell that all those people, they are not afraid of it at all, and they climb all the way to the top of the sand hill. And there's another interesting phenomenon. Every day, how many visitors can you receive? In summer, every day we can receive 3,000 people or more. Summer is the hot season for the visitors to our place. Especially we have a specialty activity, that is the sand therapy. The visitors are curious about this activity and they come on purpose to the place for the sand therapy. So we would like to give you more introduction on this interesting event. With the sand therapy, you would bury your body inside the sand. It's a little bit like the activity that you will experience on the beach. Here, the sand therapy has a long history of more than 100 years. And these days, when you come to the place, you can see so many people lying on the sand for the therapy. The sand therapy is also in part of the Xinjiang Uyghur traditional medicine. It's also one part of the cultural heritage of the country. Are you local people? Yes. So you must have some knowledge about this sand therapy. Especially in those hot temperature days, people will come to the desert for the sand therapy. They believe that with the hot temperature, you will sweat more and it will help to accelerate the recycling, the circulation of your inner body. So it's in the similar philosophy of the steaming. It will help to accelerate the blood circulation. As we can tell that already some people, they are buried inside the sand, but still a parasol is quite necessary, otherwise you will have a heat stroke. And we also have medical care personnel. And the personnel are adding up the sand. So let's have a chat with the people to see how they feel. Now, where are you from? I'm from Changsha city of Hunan province. So you come here for the visit? I'm invited by our students. I'm very lucky today because we have an expert with us for the sand therapy. First, I saw so many people are under the parasol for the therapy, and I started to be very curious about this. And I found this great expert, so I'm relieved. It's very good for my legs. So first, you heard of this activity and you came to the place on purpose. It's the first time for you to have this experience. How does it feel? It's so comfortable. At the beginning, I thought it would be burning with such a hot temperature. But indeed, it's so comfortable when you bury your legs inside the sand. At the beginning, I asked the people who were in this experience, I asked them whether it hurts, and I asked them what is it for. So they told me everything, and I came to know that it's a kind of therapy. It's for the illness treatment. How old are you? I'm 76 already. These are my family members, and over there, my students. Thank you. Hope you enjoy your therapy. So just now we have talked to a tourist coming from southern China, from the province of Hunan. But more often we will find local people coming on the desert for the therapy, because it's no longer a curious activity for them to experience, but more like a habit. Even for some people, they will organize a touring delegation to the desert from time to time. And people are in protective clothes. You can tell that they are 100% ready for this therapy. And also you can see the doctors here for the diagnosis. Where are you from? I'm from Shanshan County. I'm local. So you have had the experience for the day? Yes. How long is it? It lasts for 1 hour. So you come often for it? You come here every year? Yes. I come every year and 3 years in a row. Why you want to have a sand therapy? Because I have arthritis. I think it helped me to treat my legs and feels very comfortable when I bury my legs in the sand. You are here with your family members, right? Yes. Thank you. So those are the local people. I have not yet had my own experience, so later I will find a pitch for myself. As we told you before, this sand therapy is part of the local Uyghur traditional medicine, and it has a history of more than 100 years. This is a habit passed from one generation to the other. People from the locale will come to the desert for the therapy every summer. And not only the local people, today we are also welcoming the other people from different places of the country. And you must come here in the hottest moments, in the hottest season. Looks like the dry steaming method. You can see people have brought with them the towels and also some tea. Especially for the elderly people, they prefer the tea than the mineral water. So both ways are okay for you. So after the diagnosis, I want to have a word with the doctor. There's even the music player behind. So this gentleman is really enjoying his sand therapy. Here we have the water supply for free, and also the doctors and nurses, the medical care personnel, they are around to give the diagnosis to people, and they keep an eye on the blood temperature, blood pressure of those people here. For some people who have a medical record like some chronic diseases, the heart diseases or high blood pressure, they are not suitable for this activity. So, good afternoon, Mr. Tirulati. You have a very long name. I'm from the Shanshan County Hospital, and I'm from CCTV. Just now I see that you are taking the blood pressure from this tourist. Yes. It's one of our habits to do this kind of service. When people come for the sand therapy, it's all for free. If you have the arthritis problems or other problems with the joints, it's a very good thing for you to do the sand therapy. But still, there are some people who are not suitable for the sand therapy. Yes, for the people who have the diabetes, heart diseases, or people with renal failure, they are not suitable for the sand therapy. And also the people too young or too old, they should not come for the sand therapy. You don't think it's too hot here? Actually, I'm already used to it. Inside, a lot of micro elements inside. And also the mineral element. You can find sodium inside and also potassium inside. Once you bury your body parts inside, it will help to improve the blood circulation inside your body. After talking so much about this therapy, I wanted to try it for myself. So let's go and find a peach. So I can dig the hole for myself. You have to use this tool to create the hole with a depth of 30 cm. And now you can lie down. And now this hole is in the shape of the human body. I have to take off my shoes. What's so hot? But inside this hole is not as hot as the ground temperature. Now I think the temperature is growing up. It feels so hot. And you have to bury your body parts to a depth of 10 to 15 centimeters. I think you have to come several times before getting used to it. But now I still feel that it's extremely hot. We have two types of Zen therapy. One is only for a local body part, and another is for the whole body. So when you bury the whole body inside the sand, will it create some respiratory problems for you? It's more often for us to do the local sand therapy, meaning that you bury only some body parts inside the sand. Are there some disadvantages with the sand therapy? Yes, still, the hot temperature and the strong sunshine, they are harmful for your eyes and also for your head. That's why we need to take the parasol to protect us. It's not recommended for you to come to the place for the sense therapy around noon, because at that moment the temperature is just too high for you to stand. The longest duration of the sun therapy is 60 minutes. And this is a very common practice in the Uygur traditional medicine, right? Yes. How did you discover this therapy? That is after years of experiments and trials. Accidentally, we find out that the sun therapy, meaning by burying your body parts inside the sand, it helps to treat and deal with your arthritis and make your joint feel more comfortable. But here, the sand is quite different from what you can find on the beach. Here, we have 100% of sand. It's pure sand. But on the beach, you can find other like pebbles or the soil inside. So it's not that pure. Here, the effect is better. Where are you from? I'm from Shandong. You're here for a tourist visit, right? Yes. Do you know what we're doing here? Yes. And do you know what is the purpose for the sun therapy? I know. Our guide told us that it's very good for the treatment of the arthritis. After a moment, I will have a try. Whether it works or not, I'd like to have a try. And because I'm growing old, I want to take more care of my body health. So later you can find a hole and have a try for yourself. Now the temperature goes up from 40 degrees to 50 and more. So here the temperature is very much like the steaming bathing center in the northeastern part of China. They're still very hot. I'm used to it already. Do you have a seating for the ground temperature? When it's more than 70 or 80 degrees Celsius, you cannot put people in anymore. So how can we get to know the temperature of the sand? You can feel it by yourself when you put your feet on it. The temperature is still going up. I'm now in the shade of a parasol, but still the temperature can almost reach 55 degrees Celsius. When you go to the beach, you will also bury yourself with the beach sand. This is a similar experience here on the desert, but the temperature is much higher. You can tell that all the visitors are attracted by this activity. It's a special feature of the locale. The desert near the sea is different from the desert here due to the difference in the climate. Here, the climate is very dry, and inside the desert. With the sand, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of microelements, the mineral elements. The composition of elements are different from those on the beach by the seaside. And some people are taking some hot water with them, like the tea. It's better to drink some hot water when you are doing the sand therapy. It's not recommended for you to drink cold water while taking the sand therapy. And once again, I'd like to tell you that the scenic spots can offer to the visitors the free supply of hot water here. Okay, that's all for me. I want to get out of the sand. After the therapy, I'm almost getting used to the sand temperature. So today, this live stream program is also an unforgettable experience for myself. And after the sand therapy, you cannot directly go for a shower. Because after this hot temperature, if you go to the shower and then it will take everything away, you cannot have any medical effect. We can find a lot of local people here. They are taking a vacation here on the desert. They're bringing the melons and also the music players with them. It's also kind of sunbathing. So you may want to take some water now after taking the sand therapy. Actually here with this very high temperature of the environment, you don't have to heat your water on purpose. It can directly have a very hot temperature. This girl is adding up the sand for the family member. You can even take a nap here with your body parts buried in the sand. This is really a special activity that you can experience in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Just now I've shown to you some leisure experiences that you can have in the desert, and still we can find some more different forms of activities. Today people can do a lot more things than simply taking photos. So according to you, what are the interesting events we can take? For example, here we have the roller coaster and also the surfing activities in the desert. As I mentioned before, here we have the sand hills. It means the landscape with the very outstanding ups and downs. When you are surfing on the sand, you cannot tell what is waiting for you in the next second. You have to experience it for yourself. So let's have a try. Now our audience cannot come to the place in person, but still we can show them a little bit what it is like. And this is the vehicle for the surfing on the sand, right? First, let's check how it works with the vehicle. In the desert, we have the ups and downs in the landscape. And when you drive on the sand, it will give you a totally different experience. Here you have a very long day. At what time will you have the sunset? We will embrace the darkness by 10 p.m. usually. Those are the visitors who have just ended their trip of the sand surfing. Where have they gone? They have driven all the way to the top of the sand hills. This is an experience like the roller coaster or the surfing. Okay, there is another group of people embarking on their new trip towards the top of the sandhill. Later, you can hear the cries. So the vehicle is already over there. You can see they drive really fast. And you can feel the evident ups and downs. Sometimes you have to make a detour. You cannot drive in straight line. People may be worried about the landscape. They think it would be a little bit dangerous because they cannot expect what is waiting for them the next second. But still, there are some places that we have already investigated. So we have this paths already chosen for the vehicles to go. On that path, the land is more solid. So when you pass by, the vehicle will not sink down into the sand. For almost every visitor coming here, they will not refuse the special experience with the roller coaster. When the people come back, you can see their red faces due to the strong sunshine. But this is an unforgettable experience for them. And for our journalists, we cannot give you the ride all the way to the top of the sandhills due to the guarantee of our signals, but we can find some other activities. We have the motorbikes that you can try on the desert. And what is it? Good afternoon, sir. How could we use it? So there's one driver and one passenger. And now I'll get myself seated. The seat is also very hot. I'd like to bring my cameraman. Don't be afraid. I will be a very good driver. I want to take off my hat. Because the temperature is too hot here, and sometimes my cell phone doesn't work, and it will have a interference with the signal. Now I'm trying this motorcycle in the sand. So due to this high temperature, our signals may be cut from time to time. works